Entrepreneurship can take you from the lowest lows to the highest highs. And what a lot of people don't realize is that your business impacts your personal life and your personal life impacts your business. And it's completely naive to think that you don't. And if you're an online content creator and you start doubting yourself, you start caring what people say, you start comparing yourself to other people, there are parts of your shadow that you haven't realized. And today's guest had to completely eat his shadow to become an online entrepreneur worth millions of dollars, but not only not busy and burning himself out, but from a place of fulfillment, love, wholesome, and genuine enjoyment for his life. And in today's episode, he's going to share with you all of the content tips, all of the personal development tips, so that you can become the best online entrepreneur that you can be. So please welcome to today's show, Nick Komodina, coach. And I am posting like crazy on Instagram, but shit's not converting. Why?
Because you're posting shit.
Is that something that you see?
I mean, dude, like it's like people overcomplicate. We miss the forest shooting for the trees. It's like I'm posting 2 times a day, 3 times a day, and nothing's going viral. It's like, right, because you're just sacrificing depth for width. Depth is what grows, right? It's like I want to grow a tree so bad, and instead of watering it and waiting, I'm just gonna keep planting a different seed. I'm gonna keep walking and throwing seeds on the ground and wondering why there's not a tree that I can lay under the shade with. Like, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. So most people don't care about the person they're making content for. They care about whether or not I can make a piece of content that's going to make somebody give me their credit card. That's the hidden undertone of the agenda. I'm not sitting here saying, what does this person need to hear today? I'm saying, okay, how do I make the perfect hook so I can get them to watch my video? How do I deliver enough value and hit the CTA so that they DM me and then I can sell them? That's what everybody's doing. That's why it's all fucked up. Like, if you're a coach, if I go to your profile, I should see on your profile that you're a coach. That's your storefront, your business storefront. I should see a link to be able to click and go that. Everything else should be value. That's it, right? Like, you ever watch the show Friends?
Yeah.
Okay. You know how much Friends is worth?
I have no idea.
Me neither, but it's a lot of money. Okay. You see people wearing Friends shirts, Friends lunchboxes, right? All this shit. Never once in the show Friends do they say, by the way, if you want to buy some of our merch, do this. Never. Right? So why do people buy it? Because they get captivated by the show. They see themselves in the show. Your group of friends, oh my God, you're Phoebe. Oh my God, you're like Joey. And we create this interconnection with the show. And by nature, we lean into the show more. We get bought into the characters. We see ourselves in them and we get captivated. And that's what makes us want to buy further. So most people are just trying to manipulate their audience to get a credit card instead of actually connecting with them and giving them some sort of value without trying to sell them. People fucking hate being sold. Nobody likes being sold. You watch TV, you love it. The second commercials go on, what do? You're
like, God damn it.
Commercial goes on, you're like, okay, cool, perfect. And you go on your phone. Being sold shuts most people off. So stop selling on your social media and you'll make more sales.
Okay, so how do people, like, where's the mistake? Like, where do they get it wrong? Especially if someone, let's say, they are passionate about something and they do want to help people, but they're creating content, which is to get the sale. How do they tap back in and like...
The number one muscle that all entrepreneurs are missing is empathy. Okay. They don't and empathy thinks that everybody thinks, oh, I'm empathetic. I just feel everybody's emotions, so empathetic. No. Empathetic and enablement are not the exact same thing. Empathy means I understand you. I can see the world through your lens without my bias. So you have to, actually, let me back up just a little bit. The most amount of money you will make is on the flip side of how deep you can understand a certain archetype of person. Ooh. I've been a coach for 13 years. I have worked with coaches in some capacity for the entire 13 years. So when it comes to speaking about a coach, their mannerisms, their mindset blocks, their deep-rooted shadows, what they actually fear, the fact that they never feel like anything they do is ever going to be enough, and they're trying to prove their worth, and they don't think they're worthy of love, and I can keep going and going and going. I understand coaches with such surgical precision that I can hit them in almost any piece of content. And because I can do that is why coaches trust me. Most people don't take the time to understand the person that they say they want to serve. The hard part is that now we all know what to say to sound noble. We've learned. We've learned, oh, if I go on and I say, oh, I really care about clients, I care about people more. It's not about this, it's about this. It's not about money. It's about service. It's about impact. It's about we all know that that's what to say now to be a self-righteous person on social media. But people can smell the bullshit from a mile away.
So what do you think the difference is in between actions then?
I look at it like this. Most people filter themselves on social media subconsciously. I'm afraid to be seen. I'm afraid to be judged. I'm afraid to be disagreed with. I'm afraid to look stupid. I'm afraid to offend somebody. Why? Because how I show up is attached to whether or not I get a sale or not. So I typically do this exercise with my clients. And we could do it for anybody listening right now. Let's just close your eyes. Take 30 seconds. Close your eyes. And we're going to imagine that you just won a huge crypto giveaway I was giving on my Instagram. You just won $2 million USD. I just transferred the money to your bank account. It's there. It's yours. It's never going anywhere. Now, you do not need a single person on the internet to buy your coaching. You don't need a single person to agree with anything you talk about, anything you post. How much differently do you talk about what you're talking about in your content? Probably a lot differently, right? Because you go, oh, I could just say whatever the fuck I want. Yes, that. I could just say whatever. You can say whatever you want, regardless. But most people don't. I don't want to say that I think. Here's a crazy polarizing one, because I just did a VIP session with one of my clients and we did this. If you are overweight and you're doing nothing to change it and you're a parent, you're actually a shitty fucking parent. A really shitty parent. That's a hill to die on. That's polarizing. That's something that'll get you ostracized by majority of people on social media. Why?
Well, because it's like you're pissing a whole bunch of people off.
Right, but why are those people pissed off?
Because they're confronting their shadow.
Because it's fucking true.
Yeah, because
right?
It's truth, yeah.
But so think about this. We're afraid to piss people off. Therefore, we do not speak the truth. Therefore, we do not show up authentically. Therefore, the people who we're actually meant to help can't find us. So there's two sides of the coin. If you want people to be for you, if you want people to be like, that's my fucking guy, you need 80% of the world to say, fuck that guy. That's the warrior's path.
So when it comes to, do you think that's like an imposter syndrome thing as well? Of like people not being able to say what they most want to say online?
I don't necessarily think it's an imposter syndrome thing. I think it is somewhere in my life, I was not fully seen for who I was. I was abandoned. I was told I was too much. I was told that my words didn't matter. I was told, whatever, whether that's a parent, a loved one, etc. You were shown somewhere in your life that who you were and what you were about wasn't good enough and you needed to change it in order to be accepted.
Yeah, this is something I really want to talk about.
Let's do it.
Here, because what I think is extremely important is how personal development impacts what you're doing in business, online and social media. And I believe, I really want to know from you, because you're coaching so many people, in regards to like, what are the little sticky things that you see that trigger people when it's like, oh, say they have a post and they get some negative comments and they go, oh, or they have to, I don't know if it's like they're sending a bunch of DMs, but they don't want to do the DMs and then they get triggered. Like, what are the things that you see happen for people when they're trying to make it online? And then what's like the stories that you see that people have personal development wise that hold them back from moving forward?
It's funny. I just wrote an entire book on exactly this.
I want to talk about it so bad. Yeah.
I wrote the book in 34 days.
Whoa.
It's called The Chase.
Nice.
And this is, in my opinion, one of the deepest rooted shadows of all high achievers, high performers. And typically those are entrepreneurs, right? And so the first thing, when we start to go online, you have a massive amount of exposure, eyeballs, attention, visibility, etc. Right? Now, exposure in itself, the root of the word is expose. And there's a big difference between feeling seen and feeling exposed.
Yeah, it should be vulnerable with exposure.
Yes. Right? And when you feel exposed, you feel like you don't have anywhere to run, and you start seeing yourself in a light that you might be afraid is true. So when you don't know who you are and you make a post and all of a sudden 50 comments come in and tell you that you're a narcissist or a scam artist or a piece of shit or whatever.
Nice try, Diddy.
That's a weird one. But you start getting confronted with a deep rooted narrative that's been in your head that you might think that they're right.
Oh yeah.
And so you're saying, all of these people see this in me. Are they right? Do they see what I've been afraid to see in myself? I'm trying to hide from myself. I feel exposed now. Am I a scam artist? Am I a bad person? Am I doing something wrong? Coaching isn't for me. I got to back off. I got to go back into a safe job. So what we do, we run, we chase, we hide. We run, we chase, we hide over and over and over.
It's kind of like allowing negative affirmations like into your mind and then letting them possess you because you're starting to believe that.
Totally. Well, everything you do or say is programming you. Everything that you don't catch and redirect is programming you. So we have a very interesting approach to this in the world where it's like, if I were to say, Corey, you're super handsome, you go, no, dude, like you, right? But let's just like back up and look at the very first part of that sentence. I go, Corey, you're so handsome. And you say, no. Right there, you just programmed yourself. I'm not handsome, right? And so, but on the flip side of that, if I said, Corey, you're so handsome, dude, and you went, I know, thanks, bro. People would be like, what the fuck is this guy's problem? And why do we think that? Like, why do we default to that, right? Because we judge ourselves for taking compliments, so we judge somebody else for taking compliments. But, you know, like my girlfriend, Jenny, she tells me I'm handsome fucking 48 times a day. Right. Every time now, though, because I used to reject it. No. Now every time she goes, you're so handsome. I go, I know. Thanks, baby. Guess what? 2-3 days of me doing that, I started looking at myself differently in the mirror. I'm like, damn, my skin looks good today. Damn, my hair looks good today. I started seeing myself differently because I was programming myself instead of rejecting it. Right. So I'm letting all these negative comments come in on my social media, and I'm giving them so much weight because those are the same negative thoughts that I'm feeding myself all day long. Now I'm just seeing them externally, and now it's physical, it's real, it's visceral. So I go, oh my God, they're right. But if I know I'm a good fucking coach, I take care of my people, I could sit here and tell you that I think I'm one of, if not the best person that a coach could come to if they're looking for a true permanent, irreversible shift in their identity. Like, I eat, sleep, and fucking breathe this shit. If somebody's willing to meet me at the depth I'm willing to meet them, there is nowhere on this planet more valuable for that person to be. But am I just saying that because I'm fucking full of myself? No. I'm saying that because I've programmed myself over 13 years. I've constantly seeked out affirmation for that. I've looked for proof of that. I've continuously brainwashed, gaslit, manipulated myself into being a better version of myself.
Did you think that just comes down to self-worth? Because in Australia, we have this thing called like tall poppy syndrome. And it's just coined that in Australia. It's all around the world. And it is just judgment of like, oh, thank you. I know I am handsome. Like, thank you so much. And then people being like, whoa, why would you say that about yourself? Like, that's like bringing others down, because there's an analogy of the tall poppy, which is one flower starts growing, so the rest of the flowers like basically poison it to bring it back down. So
really? I didn't know level. That. It's like the crabs. You heard the crabs in a bucket.
Thing with the crab bucket. They pull them down. Come back, be with us. Don't be different, because then I have to think, oh, there might be something wrong with me. Let's keep all our beliefs the same. And what I think is, I just think about like the journey of, I've been thinking about this recently. It's like the more self-worth I have, it's like this breath that comes in of being like, oh, I'm allowed to really like myself. I'm allowed to really love myself. I'm allowed to think positive about myself. And
dude, that's the ticket right there.
Right. Yeah.
Permission. But here's the thing is, we're all looking for it. We all want permission to be fully expressed. And we have gotten that removed for us. The world really conditions people into like, hey, that's too much, you're too emotional, you shouldn't say that, you're too loud, you're a pompous asshole, you're a narcissist, you're conceited, right? All these negative labels come out 24/7 when you start speaking your truth, when you start speaking real shit. So you go, oh shit, let me conform to everybody else. But then you wonder why you don't stand out. Then you wonder why nobody trusts you. It's because you're a fucking sheep in the herd. I don't know what sheep is the one that's going to... Why would I trust you? Why would I trust you to transform my life when you let the world transform you?
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense to me. So, like, for me, in my space, like, we're very much on the new age leadership, spirituality bandwagon with business, right? Like, I integrate it in a practical way, not like, rub crystals up your ass and manifest and sing Kumbaya. Like, that's not...
There's something wrong with rubbing crystals up my ass, bro?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm just saying it's not the only thing to do, right? I've got 3 right now. Yeah. I don't go anywhere without my amethyst crystal up my ass. But so, for me, I don't really attract entrepreneurs into my field that aren't here to be that next leader for what's coming next for humanity. And so what I have to really get these people to understand is that you can't try to fit yourself into a box that you were meant to shatter for everybody.
Oh, I love that as a saying. That's very hero's journey vibes.
Yes. So like everybody's saying, like my whole life, people have told me that what I was doing in business was wrong, right? You can't grow a fitness business this way. You can't run a gym this way. You can't grow a coaching business this way. You need to run ads. You need this. And I'm like, fuck that. No, I don't. I'm going to do it this way, right? Everything that you're saying I have to do, I don't resonate. So fuck that.
Yeah.
You know, that has worked for you. And I'm coming for you. And you're not going to be able to stop me because I know what the fuck I'm about. And I know what I see what's next. I'm not trying to fit into what's working right now. I'm building what's going to come next.
Oh, I love it so much. Shatter the fucking box, man.
Yeah. But because of that, people look at you and call you stupid. People will look at you and say, you have no idea what he's talking about. He's not fucking rooted in reality. He's fucking this. He's fucking that. There's no strategy. It's like, no. I'm not behind of my times. I'm ahead of my times. And can you ground in that? Like, can you as a person really ground in the fact, like, I'm speaking a message that's ahead of where the world is currently at. And instead of me saying, nobody's buying, nobody's resonating, this sucks. Let me go on Instagram and let me search the trending hashtags and let me see what everybody else is posting that goes viral and let me just remake those videos. What? It's like, this handsome guy stole my girlfriend, so let me go break into his house, get all of his clothes, start wearing them, and pretend to be him so that I can get a girlfriend again. That doesn't make any sense to me. Why would I put on your clothes, pretend to be you, go out to the world and showcase me as you, and then wonder why I feel like nobody actually connects and sees me?
Yeah, it's crazy. Do you think that Instagram, like this, the way that it's built and shows up, has this sort of spiritual thing to it? Like how the whole algorithm and everything works?
Dude, okay. I love this question. It's a really good question. Might lose some people. Don't fall asleep. This is good. I promise. So we all, I mean, maybe not everybody knows, but we know that the universe is our playground. It is. You can manifest, embody, attract, etc., anything you want if you become an energetic match for it. So if I sit down and I say, I'm going to be, and it has to be within your realm of believing it to be true. If you don't, like, every time I say it's like, how much money do you want to make per month? When people join, they're like, $5 million a month. I'm like, how much are you making right now? They're like, 300. And I'm like, it's never going to work, right? Because it's so far away from what you perceive to be possible that you're like, oh yeah, like whatever. No, but if you say like, I'm going to sit down and I'm going to figure out what it feels like to be somebody who's making $10,000 a month. Maybe you're making more than that. Maybe your next leg up is $500,000 a month, or it's $1 million a month, whatever. And if you can sit in and you can say, how do I show up if that's already existing? How do I walk? How do I talk? How do I think? What energy do I have? What do I allow on my calendar? What do I tolerate? How do I treat people? How generous am I? Etc. And if I can embody that, then it's on its way. I'm an energy match for it. The Instagram algorithm is the same. It's its own universe. And now, instead of woo-woo, we'll go into actual fucking statistics and facts, okay? Paid ads are dying very quickly, and I'll tell you why. The algorithms, the AI integrated algorithms are getting smarter by the day. I don't know if you noticed this, but you open up your Explore page and you can scroll and everything is exactly what you love now. There's no videos where you're like, I don't know why this is on my Explore page. It hand delivers you content that you like. The AI is getting so fucking smart. It knows what words you say. It knows what your background looks like. It knows what kind of person you are. It knows where your setting is and everything. And it goes, oh, Corey is talking about the exact thing that all of these people like. Let me go hand deliver it to those people. You don't need ads anymore. The AI literally does it for you if you're talking about real fucking shit.
It makes so much sense, man, because I feel like as well, because when you're watching a piece of content, you can see someone's energy, right? Energy doesn't lie.
Energy never lies.
It never lies. And you can see if someone's talking about something genuine or something that's not. Because there's some times that I've like, how come this piece of content doesn't work? Because what I have said is legit. The facts in here is legit. So statistically proven this piece of content should have slapped. And then I've just been talking shit, talking about something beforehand, crop something up in like a minute, posted it and had the most amount of engagement ever. And I'm like,
You know why?
huh.
Because you've got human in that one. Everybody's cutting out their humanity.
Yeah.
You mess up and you're talking, you're like, oh, let me edit that out so they don't hear me stutter. Like, who fucking cares if you stutter? Like, not a single, my whole company knows, like all my clients know when I do a presentation, there's going to be at least 15 typos. Because I type quick, I don't fucking care. Here's the message. But never once do my clients go, he can't even fucking spell right. He is so unfit to be the leader, right? They laugh. Yep, that's Nick. Always fucking typos. Yep, that's me. I stumble on my words. Yep, that's me. I say some offensive shit on accident sometimes, and I'm recording, right? I'm live, and I'll say something, and I'll pause and be like, whoops, and then I'll just go right back to it. And my clients crack up, dude. They love it. I'm not sitting here trying to say my speech over and over and over again to get it perfectly robotic before I go present it to them, dude. Like, fuck that.
Yeah.
That's why shit doesn't work for people. They try to get too polished, too clean, too perfectly scripted, and then they literally sound like a robot while they're talking.
100%. I also know with you as well, like after come to some of your gatherings and get-togethers and stuff like that, you also know the strategy of Instagram so well. And I find like a lot of people can just get caught up looking at, the metrics, like look at the likes, look at the growth, look at the follows, look at this thing. And they're like, oh, this is why my business isn't working. It's because I'm not growing here. And they're like freaking out about, the numbers and they don't even realize it. But you actually have like strategy as well as your authenticity piece.
Yeah.
If you're like a coach and they're like, okay, I'm not getting the results that I want, what would you suggest?
Like they're not getting the results they want on Instagram?
Yeah.
Well, first of all, what's the result that you want? Right? I want views. No, you don't. You want clients. That's what you want. And that's cool. Right? Dude, you can go back on my Instagram right now. Most of my reels get 2,000 to 3,000 views. I crush 6 figures in recurring a month organically. Right? Like, I don't have to think about that.
Anyone's limiting belief right now, just like gone.
Yeah, but it's like I get 2,000 to 3,000 views on my reels if I'm lucky. Sometimes they pop off. I'll get 4 to 6, right? 2-3 years ago, dude, I would sit in my car and film a video and get 50,000 views consistently, right? And it's like I could either sit here and go, oh my God, my engagement's gone. Instagram shadow banned me as my favorite. I'm shadow banned. No, you're not. Nobody just fucking cares about what you're saying. Like it's not that complicated, dude.
So true.
But like take ownership, right?
Yeah.
Take ownership because I know that if I post anything on my page about relationship dynamics, dude, I post one video saying men should pay all the bills, I get 1 million views every time. Every time I go viral. Okay, so I can have some fucking humility and I can realize that what I'm speaking about in all of my other pieces of content, just not that fucking interesting for the masses. Cool. I'm not trying to reach the masses. I'm trying to reach coaches. That's my archetype. That's who I can fucking scale. Right? Now, I work with other people that aren't coaches, but that's who my target demographic is because I know them better than they know themselves. So if you're not getting the results that you want on social media, you're posting content to get views instead of posting content to change views.
Whoa.
That's why I post content.
Whoa, you've got to put that on a t-shirt.
I should.
You should put that on a t-shirt. That is fantastic.
And then sell it on my Instagram.
Yeah. And just make content to sell that.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
No, dude, that's insane. Also, there's another thing that happens, I believe, with a lot of coaches and people online, especially when they're starting to get clients too. And then you'll find that some people start like over delivering for clients, burn themselves out for clients who aren't even that good at clients. Why do people attract the wrong clients? Say yes to the wrong clients.
I got a whole chapter of this in my book. Whole chapter. So there's a few things here. One, money is worth more than you when you're at this state. You don't care about your values, your beliefs, your boundaries. They do not matter. Somebody paying you a couple $100 a month is more valuable than your inner peace.
So what else does that look like? Just to give like some context, because I'm like, this is fantastic, but I want to know more.
Yeah, so it's like people go, I hate this type of client, drains me so much. I hate working with them, but they're my car payment, right? You start getting people to come in and you start doing the math in your head. Someone just signed up for me $400 a month. Hell yeah, if I just get 2 more, that's my rent. And so now what you've done is you've removed the human face and you've put transactions on your clients.
Yeah.
They're my car payment. Oh, they're my groceries. Oh, they're my insurance. Oh, they're my rent, right? Now you have this massive survival instinct attachment to them of like, I can't have them leave, because if they leave, I don't have a car payment anymore. So instead of playing offense and growing and innovating, you now play defense, and you start over delivering from a manipulative and needy standpoint.
Well, what does that look like?
So people say, oh, I'm everything. And I used to do this. When I was fitness coaching, at the peak of my fitness coaching career, I had 147 active clients on my roster, my personal roster. One-on-one clients, 147. It was insane. And I really marketed myself and felt a lot of pride, and I was everything for everyone. Like, I'm everything for my clients. My clients would FaceTime me at 10 p.m. if they were going through some shit in their relationship, and I would talk to them. All my clients called me dad, and I would text them, and like, I was everything for them.
What need was that fulfilling of yours, by the way?
So here's the thing. I convinced myself I'm an amazing coach because I go above and beyond for my clients. Really, I was making sure that I was unabandonable, because I did not feel worthy of anything. So if I can be everything for everyone, they will not abandon me. And in return, I abandoned myself in order to get that.
Was that like your darkest moment?
It led to my darkest moment. Yeah, I was in a relationship at the time. It was very toxic. We were both cheating on each other. She was sleeping with my best friends plural. I knew, but I didn't know.
How long was that period?
We lived
dark period.
Probably like a year and a half of that going on.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I couldn't understand why she would get on my case so much for being on my phone. I would work all day and we would be sitting watching Netflix, and I would be on my phone messaging clients, and she would get pissed and be like, can we not just watch Netflix? I'm like, what's the big deal? We're just sitting here. Like, we're not talking. We're just watching something. I had no concept of presence. I didn't understand why does it matter for me to be fully present with you if we're just watching TV? I had no concept of that. I had a very early trauma in my childhood, or I didn't grow up with a father. And I listened to my mom talk about how shitty my father was for not paying child support on time. So I created this inner story in my head. Okay, a man is only worth how much money he can provide for his family. So my love language, because I didn't know what love languages were, I just knew I need to work as hard as possible, make as much money as possible, so my partner knows how much I love them. So I was just very confused. It was like, you work so much, you don't have time for me. I'm like, I'm up till 11 p.m. Editing YouTube videos so I can go, make a name for myself and get clients and make this money. Look at our house, look at our cars, look at everything that we have. What do you mean I don't love you? And I didn't understand, but I didn't feel worthy of love. I didn't feel like I was enough. So I had to be everything for my clients to create codependent relationships so they leaned on me. Because if I became so integrated in their life, if I became their coach, their friend, their therapist, their father figure, then I was their lifeline, which means they were mine.
And that confirms that you were needed.
Yes.
And you're like, okay, and when I'm needed, that's when I feel safe.
I'm valuable. I'm safe. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so this translates over into friendships. It translates over into relationships. And so all of my friendships were super surface level because I didn't know. Same thing we were talking about earlier. I was sacrificing depth for width. I didn't know how to go deeper with people, but I knew how to solve problems. I knew how to coach. So my friendships all went to, I'm struggling. Let me go ask Nick.
Oh, man.
And that's where I felt powerful. But then I started growing resentment because it's like, well, nobody's reaching out to me. Why is nobody checking in on me? Well, because I'm presenting myself as somebody who doesn't need to be checked in on. We are trained to not check in on the strong ones. So we, high achievers, we position ourselves as the strong one. I've got all the answers. I'm good. I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are you? Is there anything I can do to support you? How's your business doing? How's this going? Have you tried this? Why don't you try that? Here, come over. Let's do this. Always. Poor.
You must have been so drained.
And it's impossible to survive. But we convince ourselves, I'm just such a good person. But if I'm serving you, because deep down I want you to do this back to me, I'm not actually serving you, I'm manipulating you.
To serve myself.
Yes, it's manipulation. Everybody goes, I just care so much about my clients. No, you don't. No, you don't. You actually don't care about them at all. You care about their perception of you. You care about how they praise you. And so because of that, you go above and beyond so that you get that dopamine hit of them going, thank you, you changed my life. That's what you want. And because that's what you want, you'll actually never help them change their lives.
Wow. You just keep them there.
Yeah.
That's because because you don't want them to change.
Dude, it's
you
like
don't want them
it's
to
like
get
big
past
pharma. It's like big pharma. I don't want to cure you. I want to keep you getting better just enough, but I still have to simultaneously keep you sick so you stay a returning customer.
So big pharma all have abandonment wounds.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, they do. So I don't know, dude, what was the moment that you realized and what did it feel like when you were like, oh, I'm my most drained and I have to make a fucking change?
I think it was the week that I had found out finally, like confirmed that my partner was sleeping with one of my best friends. And I ended up coming clean about my infidelity as well. And she kind of was like, hey, like, I knew it. I knew that's what you were doing. That's why I did what I did. And I was like, I don't think that that's how that works. And she was like, we can't be together. Like, we're done. And I was like, okay. And I really wanted to save it. But I didn't know who I was anymore, because this entire identity I had created for myself around the relationship, the business, the house, the cars, the dogs, the false mask that I was wearing that was not me. I didn't know who I was now that I was about to lose it all. So I went out into my backyard with a gun and I put the gun to my head and I was about to pull the trigger and I heard a voice say, no. It scared me. I thought somebody was in my backyard. Nobody was there. And in that kind of woke me up. I went back to sleep, and that ended up being one of the hardest stretches of time in my life, getting through the public acknowledgement of what had gone down in our relationship and being hated by a lot of people. And so,
how many followers and stuff did you have at that time?
I had about 30. She had like 300. Okay. It was like, it was pretty
public.
It was pretty public.
Yeah.
And it was one-sided. It was very like, she came out and was like, Nick was cheating on me this whole time. He's awful. He's this. And I didn't say anything because I was like, it was like this really big wake-up call of like, how could you do that to me if you loved me the way that I feel like I love you? Like, I was like, I can't defend myself unless I destroy your public image. And I'm not willing to do that. You know, like, and I was like, damn, yeah, I fucked up and I was manipulating people, but like, deep down there was like a sense of love that I had for this person. And then once I saw that, I was like, I don't feel like that was reciprocated, and that hurt. But then I had to kind of take ownership, and it's like, well, how could anybody love me or support me? I never let them see me. I never let them see who I really was. I let them see a polished, condescending person who presented himself as not needing anybody. So how could they possibly know my heart when all I showed them was my mask? And so I started my healing journey, and there was that was a huge ego shift for me of everybody hates me right now because they're getting, albeit true, they're only getting half of a story. And I can either defend an old version of me that I no longer resonate with and no longer want to be, or I can take the arrows in my back. I can figure out why the fuck I'm doing what I'm doing. I can heal, I can let it go, and I can rebuild myself. And that's what I did.
So in regards to leadership for that, of like how you were leading during that time or like before that event happened, because I'm assuming that's like a huge catalyst for you. I'm sure it was just like,
oh,
boom.
Dude, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. Like, I talk about it a lot. Like it's like one of those stories in my life, right? And like, you know, I've got so much love for her.
Yeah.
You know, like we were just not right for each other, and we were pretending that we were, and that's why things got really fucking bad. But I've got so much love for that time of my life because it would literally change the trajectory of my entire life.
So how did you build like leadership in yourself? And what were like the moments as you were growing in regards to leadership with content and business?
After that,
which was different to the mask. So if you had like mask Nick and then, you know, integrated Nick, like what was the leadership that you had to take to create that?
To be honest, when up to that point of our breakup, I actually was very documentative of my life. Like I have a YouTube channel that has 5-6 years of videos on there, like 350 plus videos on this YouTube channel. And I stopped after that breakup. Still to this day, I don't document my life like that anymore. And that's something that I'm like recently aware of. like, holy shit, my life stopped being shown after that because I was afraid of being judged and like just being. Eventually, it does get very tired of people who are completely hell-bent on making sure they misunderstand you. You know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
eventually it gets really fucking exhausting to just be like, I mean, dude, I can't even sneeze without a Reddit thread being made about me still, you know? And it's,
Nick sneezed.
yeah, I mean, it's like, dude, you can go. Anybody listening, go look me up on Reddit. You will see pages and pages of people just hell-bent on hating me. And like, that's cool. You know, I get it. They have whatever perception they can have based on limited data they have on other people's perceptions and stuff, and like whatever. But like, my leadership is very interesting. They always say that there's like a phase in someone's life that they have to like really walk in the shadow. And I feel like that's what I was just in for the last, so that breakup was January 2022. So it was about a little over almost 3.5 years ago. And I feel like I'm just coming out fully of the shadow, like just now, you know, and I've built amazing things since then. Like I'm very proud of the man that I am today. And I just said this on my story last week, actually. So it's a full circle thing. I went on my stories and I said, hey guys, I realized I haven't shared anything about my life. And I finally feel like I'm proud of the man that I am again. And I feel like I actually have things that are worth saying. And so I'm going to come back. But so that shadow aspect was self-leadership. It was, how do I now heal, become better, integrate, evolve without needing to post it for external validation? That was like really the thing for me, you know? Like, I've done everything publicly for praise up to this point. Now I got to do this shit for me. I got to do this shit because I need to be able to look in the mirror and be proud of who I see. I got to be able to get a text message that says, hey, can we talk? And it not fucking trigger my nervous system and me worry that somebody found out something that I was doing that I knew I shouldn't be doing, right? So that, I don't know if that answers your question.
It does. And as you're talking, I'm thinking about the person who's, you know, a coach online, they've got a service business online, e-commerce business or whatever it is. And they're online and they're watching content of people and they're watching everyone's highlight reels and they're going, oh, how come that's not me? This person has a perfect life. They must never go through any struggles. They've got it all sorted out.
Yeah. I mean, dude, I can be fucking real as shit with people. Like, and again, I also wrote this in my book. Every high achiever has the voice. I call it the terrorizer. And it's not a whisper. It's a scream. And it's like you can't turn down the knob on this thing. That's why we drown ourselves and we can't go on a walk without a podcast. We can't go outside without an audiobook. We can't be in our rooms without music on or a YouTube video playing or talking or working. We convince ourselves we're always learning, but we're running from the voice. We're trying to drown it out. That's why stillness terrifies us. Because in stillness, you can't run from that void of what you're trying to avoid. Yeah,
Stop it, bro. I'm getting itchy.
I'm telling you right now, this book is going to change a lot of people's lives, man. It really is. But I think when you realize that you're not the only one with that voice, like, there's a voice in my head every day that tells me you should have killed yourself. There's a voice in my head every time I'm on a really high ledge or a balcony. It says, you should just jump. There's a voice in my head that says, who cares what you do? Nobody fucking loves you anyways. There's a voice when I'm running and I'm trying to running has been very spiritual for me. I just recently started training running.
It's amazing, isn't it?
So I competed in a high rocks. And so I was like, all right, I better start running. But since then, that voice, it comes to us in two places the most. It comes to us when we're still, and it comes to us right when we're on the edge of breaking out of a comfort zone. So when I first started running, once I got to about 1.5 miles is when that voice would come up, and it would say, it's a negotiator, right? It's a terrorist. It's a negotiator. And it would say, dude, like, you already ran this mile way faster than you had before. You don't need to push any harder. Like, you can't breathe. Your heart's going to go. You're going to hurt yourself. You're not going to recover. Don't do this. Like, you can't run this far. Your body's not strong enough, etc. And I would say, I'm not available for that conversation. Like, I'm not available for this. And I would run a little bit further. Boom, I won. Next time I ran, it wouldn't come until 2 miles, then 3, then 4, then 5. Now, the voice goes, okay, like, Corey's too strong at the 2 mile mark for me to come for him. So now I'm going to go wait at the 3 mile mark for him. Right? And so that voice terrorizes us every single time that we're about to get better, and every time we're about to get still, because they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Your real growth and evolution happens in stillness, especially if you're a high achiever. That's why the chase never stops. Because if you're constantly moving, you're not going and doing the work that you need to do, which is in stillness. That's why the voice terrorizes you out of it, and then terrorizes you. You remember those old screensavers on old computers where the block would like hit and
move
tap?
around. Yeah.
And you'd like wait for it to hit the corner and you'd freak out. That's exactly how.
But it never would. It'd go, did it?
Right. But that's exactly how we operate inside of our comfort zones. Boop, boop. We're about to, the box is our comfort zone. And every time we go, the voice scares us back. But if we push through, that box gets a little bit bigger. And then we can have more free range in life. We have more capacity. We have more wealth. We have more opportunity. And so if you can start shifting and understanding that the second that I start hearing that voice, I'm close to something new. Now there's a different relationship with it, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I 100% get that. So I study the hero's journey a lot for my coaching, and one thing that I realize is that the entrepreneur's journey in the modern world is just the hero's journey, right? And because at almost every single like new chapter of your life, new sentence, there's fear that you have to face, that you're either ready for or you're not ready for. And if you're ready for it, it's like, good, you know what it's going to feel like. If you're not ready, it's like, well, you have to go and get ready for it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to go and do the work to get ready for it, because if you don't, that's just when you're going to hit the
right.
boom,
And that's why
boom.
I say entrepreneurship is the most spiritual path anybody can take.
And you have to.
It's shadow work. It is shadow work. Like, there's nothing more. And regardless of what anybody believes in, right? Like, I have a relationship with God, but I am not religious. I have a relationship with the universe, but I am not in that spiritual diagnostic realm, right? I have my own relationship with everything, and it serves me well, and I serve it well. I forgot where I was going with that. Shoot. What did you just say?
I was talking about the hero's journey. We're talking about shadows and facing fear at every point of the comfort zone before expanding.
Yeah, I completely lost my train of thought.
We can get back to that. There is something I did want to talk about.
Okay.
As I want to know, from your perception, the signs and symptoms that someone who is working online has that lets them know that they're ready for a change in their identity. It's like what you see most, or what happened to you, is when you're like, oh, these are the signs. You're starting to see this, right?
I see.
Yeah. You're starting to get ready. Now it's time to shift your identity because you're ready for the level up. What are those signals? What are those little beep, beep, beep?
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah.
So the first thing is that you start to get very frustrated with your current business strategy, content, etc. And usually the conversation sounds something like this. I don't get it. My content's just not hitting anymore. And then we start backtracking. We go, 6 months ago, I was talking about this, and this. I was getting so much engagement. And then they start to recreate the old videos, and the old videos don't hit anymore. And they go, what the fuck? The algorithm doesn't like my stuff. No. You have evolved past that. Like, you're high, you've elevated in consciousness to where that type of content has no resonance with you anymore, right? And revenue follows resonance. So when you're posting things that you don't resonate with anymore,
put on a t-shirt, bro.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Put it on a t-shirt.
Yeah. Revenue follows resonance. So you don't resonate with that content anymore, but you're trying to just repurpose it because you're like, but that's what works, that's what worked. That's what worked. for you.
Duh.
It's time for you to do work on yourself to figure out how to innovate and call people even higher. Like the people in your audience, they've calibrated to you. It's time for you to go higher. So that's number one.
Yeah, because you can't lead your audience too if you've already got them to where you are. So
right.
you got to grow to lead them again.
It's like you're at the middle of a mountain. Everybody wants to go to the summit, and you're like, all right, guys, follow me back down to the bottom. They're like, no.
Yeah, we want to go to the top, dude.
Yeah. Right. So that's number one. I would say number two is that you start to feel very, and we'll call it burnt out. But when you feel burnt out, it's because what you're doing isn't the truth anymore. That's where we feel burnt out.
It's just draining you. So it's like,
yeah, you're like, I'm meant for more than this. I know then let's just take fitness coaches, for example, right? It's like, change your macros. Here's your workout plan, 3 sets of 5. It's normal for the scale to go up 2 pounds. You're fine. You're not gaining weight, right?
The way you embodied that just...
Yeah, right? Like I did it for a decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're up 2 pounds. Nope, it's super normal. Did you eat late before bed? Yep, there it is. Crazy. Oh, you haven't taken a shit yet? It's crazy. No, you're not gaining body fat. It's not how it works. You don't gain 2 pounds of fat overnight. Okay. No, but I swear my clothes are tighter. They're not. And so it's like, even like we have tiered programs in my community. I love my Alchemist Academy students, but my team was literally like, dude, you got to get out of this fucking program.
Alchemist Academy
is tier 1. So,
fat loss?
No. Alchemist Academy, we do business.
Okay, so
leadership.
business, yeah, because ages ago you did.
Alchemist Academy, we take online coaches from anywhere from like 8K or to 0 all the way to 20K recurring in their business. That's that program blocked in there. And in that, there's a lot of just like level 1 problems, right? And my team was like, Nick, you are literally, we see you being drained energetically by getting on these group calls and answering the same fucking questions because like, dude,
it's not expansive for you.
Here's the thing is I don't have a filter. I also have a little bit of autism. So I have a really hard time hiding my face when I'm annoyed at someone. I just like, but everybody knows where I stand. I don't lie. I'll just be like, I've answered this question 15 fucking times for you. Why haven't you done anything? And like a newer student isn't super receptive to stuff like that, right? But like, my one-on-one clients now that are doing, I'd say my one-on-one clients are doing anywhere from like 30, 40, 50, some even 200K plus months. I'm like, hey, you're being a cheap fucking bitch right now. And they're like, dude, you're so right. Thank you. And they execute. So, but I knew that I needed to let go of that part of the business and shed the savior complex of helping these new people and really let go more and trust my team more. So that was an identity shift for me. I knew I was feeling burnt the fuck out, and my team actually kicked me out because they knew I wasn't going to kick myself out. So like, I'm really grateful for them for that. So that's number 2, right? Things aren't working the way that they used to. What the fuck? Something's wrong. 2, I'm feeling super burnt out. I don't feel aligned. And then 3 is shiny object syndrome.
Oh, that's such a good one.
Shiny object syndrome is just like basic because, again, depth is what creates our capacity to build up. When you build a skyscraper, you got to go down first, then you can go high, right? So most people dig like this far down, and then they wonder why they can't get past 10, 20, 30K months. So let's just say you have somebody who's doing a $30,000 a month business. They have no systems, no structure. They're not serving from a place of authenticity. They haven't attracted dream clients. So they have clients that they hate. They have clients who take up a ton of their bandwidth, clients who don't respect boundaries because this coach doesn't have any boundaries because they're operating out of lack. Dude, I have had coaches tell me like, I'm making 30K months, but like, I'll hire you in 6 months once I'm done with my prep because like, I just have no time. I'm like, dude, you're running a 30K a month business and you don't have fucking time. What are you talking about? Right? Like you're running it really fucking shitty if you have no time, right? Like the perception is wild, but it just tells me like you weren't aligned when you built it. You attracted shitty people. You don't have boundaries. You don't have systems, and you don't know how to more than likely create a sense of safety from you outside of the business, right? You don't have off days. And so that's why people are stressed out. Like my clients know, dude, you message me after 6 p.m., you can fuck off till tomorrow morning. I'm not answering that. If it's an emergency, call a doctor.
Yeah.
There's no reason that there should be a panic for messaging me anytime in the evening as a business coach, leadership coach, whatever it is. No reason.
Yeah.
You're autonomous. You got this, buddy. You can do it.
Let's go. I
right?
remember I was getting coached from your friend Brian, and I made some excuse about not having the time.
Oh, Brian ain't doing that. No.
He was like, dude, my business is like 20 times the size of yours. Don't complain you have no time.
Right.
I was like, oh, done. I was like, I get it. Like straight away, I was like, yep. Thanks for saying that. I can't ever use that excuse ever again.
But there's lower levels of consciousness for this, right? And energetically, if we look at the lower end of the consciousness paradigm, there's the survival paradigm, which is capped at fear. Then we have panic, grief, shame, apathy, guilt, right? All of this stuff. And we're boxed in by fear. So when I'm afraid about where my money's going to come from, I'm afraid I'm not going to, whatever, we start to just keep recycling through these emotions. It's panic. It ensues. We're in survival mode. We can't see solutions. We think everything's wrong. There's just no way. You don't understand. I have it so much worse than you. Every single person under $1 million a year thinks they have unique problems, and they all have the exact same fucking ones. Like, they're like, you don't get it. It's like, I literally do. I'm sorry. You're not fucking special. No, but like, I help people it's the same fucking problems, right? So anyways, just to like tie back into the final message there, deep down, when you look at your life and your business and you're like, this does not excite me or stimulate me anymore. I'm going through the motions. I feel bored. I feel uninspired. It's time to evolve.
What do you find is like the most common transition that people, when they have to evolve, like what is that role that they most likely have to step into?
I don't necessarily think it's a new role they have to step into. I think like you look at the bigger sharks in the pool in business, right? Like the Alex Ramosis and people like that, and they say, like people will hear Alex Ramosi say anything and think, I must do that. And to be honest, like I love the guy. He has a lot of really shitty advice if you don't know how to critically think for yourself, right? His advice is great. It's really fucking shitty if you don't know how to critically think.
Learn to think first.
Yeah, because they'll hear Alex go, no, take one thing and do it nonstop and never deviate from it, and that's how you become rich. And then people go, well, I started this. I have to stick with it. I can't change what I'm doing. It's like, that is the worst advice I've ever heard. Truly. Especially with where the world is shifting to. Like, there's a collective awakening happening that it's really hard to ignore. People are gravitating towards more depthful containers. People want, like, CEOs of billion-dollar tech companies, they're not seeking business coaches. They're going and seeking ayahuasca journeys. Like, there is a massive collective warrant and positioning to going deeper in ourselves now. So the rules that Alex Ramosi played in when he was scaling Gym Launch fucking 30 years ago, they don't apply. Dude, the rules of social media aren't even the same as they were 6 weeks ago. Like, for us to think that we have to do the same thing 24/7 and for years in order to innovate is fucking ridiculous. So looking at a coaching business and saying, like, this doesn't resonate with me anymore. It's like, okay, well, what does? And dude, the most fucking common one is like, I'm a fitness coach, but I also do mindset coaching, right? It's like, I do them both because mindset's what is this? And it's like, okay, yeah, I got it. You're so unique. Yeah. Wow, fitness and mindset. That's crazy. I've never heard of that before. But it's like, what do you want to do mindset from? Oh, because mindset's everything. Yeah, duh, right? But like, what does that mean? So we don't go deep in ourselves to think about, why do I feel uninspired by my business, right? It's repetitious. I'm answering the same questions. Well, why does answering the same questions bother me? Because I feel like people should just get it. Got it. So you're so far removed from these people that you just can't resonate with them anymore. You genuinely can't help them anymore. So instead of making that your ideal avatar, as you evolve your avatar. Okay, so now you have all these people who ask the shitty questions, stupid questions. They never integrate. They never change anything. They're codependent, and you realize, this isn't filling me up. Cool. Who's them when they become better? Right? So now if you've become better, now these are the people that you lead, and eventually you're going to grow up higher, and these people aren't going to resonate anymore. So you'll start attracting the higher level clients, and you'll just keep going up and innovating. Maybe that ends up translating into, I actually don't even work with people for fat loss at all. I actually work with people through somatic healing. And I've found out that if I help somebody, do breath work, tap into a meditation, and change the supplements that they take, we can actually heal them. So the body actually just releases body fat on its own. Like, they just naturally let go of.
Yeah. So on this, if you're a coach and you're wanting to create, I like this thread, and you're wanting to create massive transformation for people.
Yeah.
You know that like it makes sense. Like if I'm creating a better product for people, I'm facilitating a better transformation and a better experience, whether it be business, whether it be fitness or whatever it is. And you go, well, one part of this is it's also going to help my retention as well as going to help my business grow.
Totally.
It's like, how do we do that?
I think you have to give yourself permission to stay a student. That's what like it's the craziest thing to me when I have people that I'm like, okay, well, like what skills are you developing right now? And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, well, you do this coach, like what's your continuing education? And they're like, oh, I don't do that. I'm like, what do you mean you don't do that? Like, so this is what people do. They learn one skill one time and say, this is my business. And that's why you're caged in. That's why you don't grow. That's why you have imposter syndrome. That's why you feel like you don't have anything to talk about on your social media, because you don't. You're not learning anything new.
That landed with me, that one. Oh God.
But like, dude,
Yeah.
I have a fucking you can go, there's a hack for everybody. Udemy.com, UDEMY.com. It is a huge conglomerate hub of online certification programs, and they are dirt fucking cheap. You could literally go get a neurolinguistics master's practitioner for $12, right? And then you will understand how to talk to somebody's subconscious. You can go in and you can get trauma life. You can get somatic. You can learn breath work. You can learn meditation. You can learn anything on this site and start developing your skills. I have a course in something that no matter what, I always have one up that I'm doing. Doesn't matter. Even if I know the shit, I'll just listen to how somebody else teaches it, and it'll fill some gaps for me. But the thought of like, well, I learned this thing and now I'm good. Now people should just pay me money and I should make millions. That's insane to me.
It's skill acquisition.
It's entitlement. This is our biggest issue, is that we are at the same time, we have an entitlement epidemic and we have a trust recession. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Explain, because I like the entitlement, because I feel like the thing is with entitlement is you're most entitled when you think you're not entitled.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, right. But
Yeah,
with the trust recession, because that was me. There's so many times where, I sometimes call people out and I'll be like, I think you're being entitled right now. They're like, no, me being entitled? No way. And it's like,
that's exactly what an entitled person would say.
yeah, I'm so entitled right now. Yeah, but I'm not going to convince you, because otherwise you're going to hate me in the moment. But what do you mean by trust recession?
So we'll look at it because they're both sides of the market, right? And we'll just keep it with coaches, right? Coaches are where the entitled epidemic is. Trust recession is where the consumer side is. So we have a market that no longer trusts people, right? And let's go way back real quick. Let's look at capitalism. Okay, when capitalism first happened, it was like we came over on the Mayflower, and they were like, I think it was like his name's John, like the most white guy name ever, like John Green or some shit, was like, hey, he had a theory, which was really cool. He was like, hey, I think that if we allowed all of our people to like pursue what they want to pursue, that society's needs would be met as a whole. Like, let's just let people do what they want to do. And I think by nature, we'll all get our needs met. And that's what happened. Boom, capitalism happened, right? Capitalism is amazing, right? All these cameras and everything, this is a byproduct of capitalism. But every good has its bad, right? And so let's look at the fitness industry, right? When it first boomed online, you remember like Shreds and all these fucking companies that scan people. So it was like, it was like, hey, for $97 or $300, buy my guide that'll help you lose 45 pounds of fat in 60 days.
In 5 minutes.
Yeah, but that's what it was, right? And so consumers were like, oh, well, there's no reason you would lie to me, right? So here's my money. And over time, the consumer started getting really fucking burned. And the massive buy metric that people were comparing was, okay, well, who has the flashy thing, right? I'm just going to buy whoever's making me the best promise. Boom, boom, boom. And so then we had all of the, like the TV, but wait, there's more, right? Buy the ShamWow and we'll throw in 15 for free if you buy in the next 10 minutes. And so over time, people started getting burned. They started getting scammed because there was no regulation on this shit. And then John McKay, he is the founder of Whole Foods, right? He created a movement called conscious capitalism. And conscious capitalism, basically, he thought, well, businesses should do business with integrity of the experience they're providing for the consumer. Wow, what an amazing notion, right? But then everybody started competing on, well, we give the better we give the better experience. We give the better experience. And then kind of like we talked about, like over delivering for clients as a way to manipulate them. That's exactly what companies started doing. We're going to like over deliver and like, we're the best of the best, but then the prices went up because we're the best. And so now the consumers are like, okay, well, like now we can't have anything nice without paying fucking a massive premium. Like, fuck this shit, right? They either scam us with this or they charge us up the ass for this. So consumers there's no trust, none. Okay? And we know this because 3 years ago, you could say swipe up for coaching and get a shit ton of opt-ins. Now you say swipe up for coaching, you get crickets.
This is crazy because it's how your business is projecting on the audience, and then they're having to adapt to that.
The market is a byproduct. It's a byproduct of how much the market and coaches and people have manipulated them. People become the sum total of how they're treated. So the market is wounded because the coaches, or I'd just say the coaches are wounded. Right? Hurt people, and then those hurt people don't want to trust those people anymore.
It's even worse when they're unaware.
Yes. So that is why, like when I work with my students, the biggest thing that I talk about is we have to figure out, real quick, side tangent. I believe business is an artistic expression of the gift somebody has for the world. And so I think we all have a unique gift. I think that's why you're pulled to be an entrepreneur. And your business is the vehicle that we deliver that truth with. So we have to first heal. We have to first let go. We have to first remember who we are, remember why we're here. And that takes a lot of deep work. It takes no longer running. It takes stopping the chase. It takes being still. It's why I fucking wrote a book about it, right? And when we do that and we figure out, oh, this is the path that I'm meant to do. This is like my God-given gift, and I'm here to serve the world with this, and nobody else can serve it this way. Now we go with this like massive divine path, this divine guided energy through what we're doing, and that is where I believe the algorithm starts to favor you because you are walking in alignment with what you're meant to do. The universe favors you. The algorithms favor you. Organic social starts to favor you. People start to feel your authenticity, your voice, and your heart again. So everyone's trying to say the right thing to sell people. You can fucking feel it. This is 300 years of capitalistic conditioning in the consumer. You're not tricking them by copying a fucking script off of ChatGPT. Like, be so fucking for real right now.
Dude, if I want your support to grow with this and want to get your book, where do I go?
Book's not out yet. I just finished writing it. You can follow me on Instagram. Honestly, that's it. And I'll obviously post once the book is out. I do have a book coming out next month called Surrender, actually. I wrote it right after that breakup that we just talked about. So that's my first one. But yeah, Instagram is where I post everything.
Yep. So what's your Instagram, and where can I go if I want to get into some of your programs and get involved?
Yeah, my Instagram is at Nick Komodina. I'm the only Nick Komodina on the planet. Super easy to find me. Instead of worrying about my program, here's what I will say. There's a pinned post on my Instagram. I just released a resource. It's organic story hacking, because we basically get our clients like 7 to 10 times their normal views on stories organically. So I made a whole resource that teaches people how to storytell and sell, and then the exact templates that my clients use on their stories to sell. Made about 8 million organically in the last year with it. And then I also bundled in a 5-day mini mind. So 5 full video trainings on business scaling. It's $9. So fuck my programs. Go try that. You can use comment bundle and it'll send it to you. Go try that. And then if you fuck with what I do, then you can lean in more.
Thanks so much for coming on to the show, man.
Thanks, brother.